This isn't something I often think of myself as actually struggling with, but as I was noticing the thoughts that were running through my head, I was like, oh, this is what I'm doing. Because I was noticing that I felt like I didn't know how to be wise. I'm making all these huge life decisions right now, and some of them are really scary because they involve large amounts of money. They involve moving from one place that I know and understand to a place that I know not of. There's so many life changes, and I'm losing these faces that I have around me that I love. And I realized I was berating myself for not being smarter about all these life decisions that I had to make. Because I have to be smart, right? Because I have to go out and I have to do all of this by myself. I'm going to be on my own. These are the thoughts that were running through my head, and I thought, I'm not wise enough to do this. I brought it to Jesus, and he came back with a question. What is wisdom? Okay, if you're not wise, what does it mean to be wise? And I realized I didn't know. It's one thing to tell yourself you're not a wise person, but can you really say that if you don't know what wisdom is? So I opened up the Wisdom of Solomon. I figured, well, I should find out what is wisdom. And that was when I found chapter 11, verse 24. And it really, I was surprised that this was what was bringing me peace, but I just read over and over again. For you love all things that exist, and you loathe none of the things which you have made. For you would not have made anything if you had hated it. And I think what I realized was just how much self-hatred there really was inside of me in this thought that I'm not wise, in this thought that I don't know what I'm doing. This is me trying to solve all of my own problems. And I can't do that. I'm not saying that out of self-hatred, but because it's true, because I need to rely on Jesus. If I am focusing only on the fact that I'm going to be alone, I have to solve all my problems, then I am deciding that I'm not good enough right now as I am. Therefore, if I'm not good enough right now as I am, there's a chance I might not be good enough when the time comes around for me to show up. But here's the truth. I need to show up here and now. And I am showing up here and now in the way that I know how to. And so as I look for answers, as I look for the path that I'm supposed to take, and I mean that literally and figuratively, as I look for this path on this road trip that I'm heading out on, how am I showing up right here with the information that I have right now? And the other verse that really brought me peace was chapter 12, verse 1. So, for your immortal spirit is in all things. Therefore you correct little by little those who trespass. Little by little. Poco poco. I can only do with what I have. And I told myself this morning, I said, you know more today than you did yesterday. And tomorrow you will know more than you do today. That's a good thing. It doesn't mean that I'm inadequate right here, right now. It just means that this is where I'm at right now. And that's okay. I'm going to learn the next thing tomorrow. And so long as I'm open to learning things, those answers will come. And the other thing I've had to learn is not to be frantic about looking for my answers. Where am I going to find this next truth? Where am I going to find this next deep wisdom? If I keep looking frantically for deep wisdom, I'm not going to find it, because it's almost this attitude of being afraid that I won't find it. And fear, as we all know, does not lead us to that final realization. It doesn't lead us to any sort of wisdom. That really is the word that keeps coming back to me. And if we try to set ourselves up as the one who's providing, as the one who's making sure that all this happens, then we are setting ourselves up as God. I have been setting myself up as God to say, I have to make sure that I know the best way to do this. I have to make sure that I do this the best way, because if I don't, then I've done it the wrong way. No. I have permission to make mistakes. I have permission to do this the wrong way, because this is the knowledge that I'm moving forward with. But something that my friend told me, she went on a road trip a couple years ago, and she said, I am still unpacking things that I learned from that trip. She's still unpacking it. I'm going to be unpacking things from this trip for the rest of my life. And I'm going to keep continuing to gain wisdom from that. to look back on things and learn from them, and to look forward on things with hope, and to know that I'm going to know more one day than I do now. And that even if I don't know everything I think I should know in any moment, that's okay, because Mary, Joseph, and Jesus are going to compensate for the things that I don't know. Because so long as I am trusting them to step into that space, they will show up and step into that space. However, if I'm just all frantic and I'm going, no, I've got this, well, they're going to be respectful and step back and say, she said she has this. And then when I'm done, I'm going to say, well, why didn't you help me work that out? Why didn't you show up for me better? And they'd say, you said you had this. Well, if I keep saying, I have this, and then I don't have it, whose fault is it? But if I say, Lord, I am showing up as well as I know, and I'm going to keep learning, I'm going to keep pursuing this, and every once in a while I'm going to step back and rest because I can't keep going every single hour of every single day, that's okay. Sleep is Jesus' favorite time, just so you know. You know, there's an image James Barrie uses in Peter Pan, where Mrs. Darling goes into her child's bedroom, and she sees Wendy, John, and Michael sleeping there. She goes into their minds, and he says, like any good mother, she tidied it up. She goes in and she takes perceptions that they've had throughout the day, and she puts them into the little boxes that they're supposed to go into, so that in the next morning, their minds are aired out and ready for the new day. That is such a beautiful image. I love that image. And that is what Jesus does in our minds and in our lives while we sleep. He comes in and he says, I'm going to take care of all this. And then he does. Where are you struggling or succeeding in your attempts to trust in the Lord? Where has he been showing up for you lately? And especially, where has St. Joseph shown up for you lately? I'd love to hear that story. I think I mentioned this in the previous video, but I'm looking for my donkey. And St. Joseph is the one handling all of that. And he sent me just so many answered prayers this past couple days in relation to all of that search for my car. And I'm just really excited to see that final result when I get it. So yeah, share your stories below, subscribe and like this video, and I'll be keeping you all updated when I find my car.